Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into ESG compliance in India. This is a topic that's, well, it's quickly moving from just being a buzzword in the boardroom to something that really hits the bottom line.
All right, let's get right to it. The number you see on the screen, 65%. And it's probably the most important number we'll talk about today.
So, what's that? Well, that's the chunk of global investors who are now digging into a company's environmental and social track record before they even think about investing. We're not talking about a small niche group anymore. This is a huge global shift, and it's dictating where the big money is going.
In that big shift in thinking, it leads us straight to this quote. For businesses in India, this means getting a handle on ESG isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's absolutely critical. We're talking about survival and growth. It's about attracting that investment, yeah, but also staying on the right side of the rules and building a company that's truly built to last.
Okay, so let's dig into why this is so much more than just a box-ticking exercise. This is really about building a business that's tough, that's resilient, and that people actually trust.
And look at how all these pieces fit together. It's not like you do one and hope for the best. A solid ESG strategy, it pulls in those investors we talked about. It keeps you compliant with bodies like SEBI and the RBI. It builds a brand that your customers will actually stand by. And, maybe most importantly, it acts as a shield against all kinds of future risks, whether they're from climate change or social shifts.
So, we've been throwing this term ESG around. But what are we really talking about? What's behind the acronym? Let's break it down.
You know, at its heart, it's pretty simple. ESG is all about weaving these three big ideas: environmental care, social responsibility, and solid governance, right into the DNA of your business. It's a new way of looking at success. It's not just about the profit anymore. It's about your total impact on the world.
And this chart, it lays it all out beautifully. E for environmental. That's all about your footprint on the planet. Think emissions, waste, that kind of stuff. S for social. This is about people. How do you treat your employees? What about the community? And G for governance. That's the how. How is the company run? Is it ethical? Is it transparent? And here's the thing. You really can't have one without the other two. They're totally linked.
Okay, this all leads to the million-dollar question, right? Does this actually apply to my business? And if you're in India, the answer is more and more becoming a definite yes.
Just look at this timeline. It tells you everything you need to know. Back in 2011, this stuff was all voluntary. A nice suggestion. Fast forward just a decade, and bam, we have mandatory reporting, the BRSR, and now it even needs to be audited by a third party. The trend here is undeniable. The government is pushing for more rules, more openness, and way more accountability.
So who's in the hot seat right now? Well, SEBI, that's India's market regulator, has set up a tiered system. If you're one of the top 1,000 listed companies, you're filing these BRSR reports annually. But if you're in the top 150, whoa, it gets tougher. You need third-party assurance. And for the top 250, you've even got to report on your supply chain. They're not messing around.
And it's not just SEBI. The RBI is getting the financial sector in on the action too. But here's the really crucial part, especially for smaller or unlisted companies. Even if the rules don't force you to do this yet, doing it anyway is a huge competitive edge. Seriously, it helps you pull in better talent, new customers, and smart money.
Okay, so you know you need to do this, but how? It can seem pretty overwhelming, right? Don't worry. We've got a straightforward, step-by-step playbook to get you through it.
This is it. This is the roadmap. It turns a giant, scary task into something you can actually manage. You start by figuring out what ESG issues matter most to your business and where your gaps are. Then, you got to get the data and get your people, your whole supply chain on board. From there, you build your policies. And it all builds up to that final step, reporting what you've done, accurately and on time. It's a logical path from we should do this to we've done. All right, you've got the playbook. But just as important is knowing what not to do. Let's look at a few common traps that companies fall into so you can steer clear of them.
First up, the big one, greenwashing. This is when a company just pretends to be green for the PR points. It's all marketing fluff. How do you avoid it?
You have to actually bake ESG into your real business strategy. Set real goals you can measure. You gotta walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Authenticity is king here.
Mistake number 2 is bad data. You know, garbage in, garbage out. If your numbers are shaky, investors and regulators will spot it a mile away. And all that trust you built, poof, gone. The only way around this is with solid systems, good software, and getting an independent third party to check your work. Your claims are worthless without good data.
Okay, this next one is a huge blind spot for so many companies, the supply chain. You can be doing everything right inside your own four walls, but if your partners and vendors aren't on board, it doesn't matter. You're on the hook for their performance too. So you've got to train them, work with them, and pull them into your process. Your responsibility doesn't end at the factory gate.
And finally, please, don't leave reporting to the last minute. Treating it like some homework you have to cram for is a recipe for disaster. It leads to mistakes and penalties. The smart move? Plan it out. Line up your ESG reporting schedule with your financial reporting. Make it part of your normal business rhythm.
So what's next? Where is all this headed? Let's take a peek at the future of ESG in India, because believe me, this whole space is changing fast.
The whole landscape is just evolving at lightning speed. We're already seeing new ways to raise money, like green bonds. AI tools are popping up to make reporting easier. There's even talk about creating a special societal impact score just for India. And you can bet that global investors are only going to be looking closer and closer.
So when you put it all together, the takeaway is pretty clear. ESG is moving way beyond just being about compliance. It's becoming the new field of competition. The time for just doing enough to get by, that's over. Now it's about building your business to actually win in this new environment. So that leaves just one final question for you to think about.